On Saturday, an enormous commercial egg farm in central Connecticut burned to the ground for no obvious reason. Huge fire. At least 20 fire departments responded, fought the blaze for over 8 hours. More than 100,000 chickens died. Now, that's a sad story, but what's interesting is that most media companies did not consider it a story at all. Weird, considering egg prices have become an actual problem for most Americans. Egg prices are up more than 100% in many places.
So in Massachusetts, the price of eggs has gone from $3.50, $4 a carton, up to $9, and they're very difficult to get. And then magically, we have this massive fire that burns the entire thing to the ground. Do you think that's a complete and total coincidence? Well, it isn't. Because since 2002, we have seen a massive amount of food processing plants simply and utterly burned to the ground. Now, I've done a video on this quite a while ago, but it's a good time for a reminder. These guys are doing it, and they're doing it with the basic fabric of the American food system, and they're tearing it to shreds. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And then, of course, you've got the influenza outbreaks, because chickens can still get the flu. People don't get the flu anymore. They simply get COVID. But, I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable when you see places like PolitiFact trying to tell you that all those places burning down, it's just a coincidence. It's not a conspiracy. But are you kidding me? At one point, we had 2 food processing plants get hit by 2 separate airplanes in the same day. Yeah, that's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. All is well. Nothing to see here. They're not going after the food. They're absolutely going after the food. If they weren't going after the food, they wouldn't be training your children in school that it's time to start eating bugs and that bugs are delicious. I mean, it's bad enough watching these poor kids being muzzled like animals, but now, like animals, they're feeding them bugs.
You've never eaten a cricket before? No?
Hey, this is Marcel with Ernie Racing News. We're all becoming aware of the attack on our food system by the globalists trying to take over the food system and make it difficult for us to get food. And what is happening with obviously the farmers in the Netherlands and the control of beef and all across Canada now. So introducing Let's Eat Crickets for Protein. So, you know, how do we get the next generations to want to eat crickets for protein as opposed to our typical livestock? Oh, I'm trying to go backwards here. And, well, let's introduce it into the classroom. So when kids are young, it's like, oh, try some crickets. This is normal. Here's a business. Here's advertising from a cricket farm. Anyways, check out this disturbing shit. Bye.
You've never eaten a cricket before? No? You tried? Where do you find a cricket to eat? So there's this company right here in Manitoba. They're called Prairie Cricket Farms. And what they do is they farm crickets and they put them in nice little bags, and then you can eat the crickets. You feel brave enough. And one time maybe you'll be able to eat it.
Let's talk about bugs, and you will eat bugs. So you will eat bugs and you will like it. You will if you're a child in school. That is the wish of the World Economic Forum, as we've outlined here on the show. With the cover story, and we've covered this story on the show for a couple of times now, for their effort to eliminate meat production. Of course, this is one of their answers. They always point to, well, people, you know, in other countries, in Africa, they eat bugs all the time, right? This is a staple of their diet. Yeah, maybe not by choice. Do you ever think of that? Like, if they had the choice whether to eat bugs or to eat other foods, I think they might not make that decision. But who am I to judge? But this is what the World Economic Forum wants you to believe.
The data supports that, so you don't have to make a judgment that when GDP increases, people who are vegetarians do choose to eat meat.
So not too long ago, the only people that were talking about the World Economic Forum getting rid of the food supply and swapping everybody over to eating bugs was a conspiracy theory. Well, now it's all over the place. This is mainstream. 1.6 million subscribers 3 months ago, and it's still up, which amazes me because if it was on my channel, the whole channel would get taken. Actually, it was. And the fact that they're trying to say, oh, these 95 food plants that burned down in a year, 95 food plants that burned down in a year, that's just a conspiracy theory. It's not real whatsoever at all. They're going after the food. They're absolutely, without a doubt, 100% going after the food to the point where even mainstream YouTubers are figuring it out and reporting on it. Do you see what I'm saying? It's funny how long it takes for everyone to catch up with the quote-unquote conspiracy theorists. Meanwhile, we have to live with that moniker hanging around our necks. But you know what? I got big shoulders. I can handle it for the most part. So it is what it is. But here's another thing. They're going after the money. Straight up and down, they're going after the money. Specifically, you know, Zero Hedge, I wish I didn't have all this crap here. I'm trying to do a video. I'm trying to use links to your website, and all this is really obnoxious and distracting, seeing how none of this applies to my life. But on that, I will digress. Okay, so everybody's reported on this. Everybody has reported on the fact that they want to take your money. They want to do exactly what they claim the mafia was doing. They want to take your retirement and they want to invest it in the Environmental Social Governance Program, which means at any given moment, they can decide, oops, your social footprint, the world is no good, something bad happened, it's raining out, it's clouding out, a volcano just went off, and all of your money is lost. That's what this is going to do. This is going to give them the ability to take your complete and total 401k, your retirement, whatever you think you're going to live on, they can take it, and it's not our fault. It was the weather, one way or the other. This is the hidden hand right here. You know what I'm saying? Right here. And it's why I always tell you, or for the last several months, I've been telling you to get your money out of the bank as soon as humanly possible. Get your money out of the bank, turn it into gold and silver, and then simply, because these guys will show you exactly how to do it, and it is free. Turn your retirement into gold and silver, and then take possession of it, and then simply do this. If you have no place else to hide it, if you can't figure out a place to put your gold and silver where you're afraid someone might find it, simply do this. It is probably one of the easiest things you're ever going to do. I mean, there's so many methods. You need 3 feet of PVC pipe, or 2 feet, or a foot, an end cap, and a plug. That's it. You bury this, you seal this thing up, nothing bad can happen to whatever you put inside. There are so many of these hidden all over the United States and the world with various things, electronics, weapons, gold, cash, etc. It's insane. It's so easy to make. It's pretty much ridiculous. There's only 4 steps. 4 steps. But that will put your retirement out of the hands of these people because they want your retirement bad and they want to give it to the World Economic Forum. Change that from ESG to WEF. Or NWO. It doesn't matter. All of them apply. Do you see what I'm saying? And here's another little fun thing right here. Actually, you know what? Let's hold off on this. Let me show you something a subscriber sent, and I'm going to read it to you because it backs up what I'm telling you about right here. Big time. One of my subscribers sent this. He said, just took this live screenshot of the U.S. debt clock. U.S. debt clock. Dollar to oil, dollar to gold, dollar to silver, all zero. Dollar to oil now as well. They are telegraphing what is coming. The M2 money supply has gone negative for the past week. This is why gold and silver to US dollar ratio is 0 on US debt clock. When was the last time this happened? Well, it hasn't happened, I don't think, ever. The equivalent calculation of negative money supply hasn't happened since the Great Depression. I stand corrected. It started in 1929 and continued to 1939. It has touched 0 a couple of times since then due to quantitative tightening, but has never gone negative. So what's next? The government will continue to look for other sources of funding. They will go after other pensions and all liquid assets like personal investment, savings, etc., while stopping spending, payrolls, hold back tax refunds, and stop benefits. We will then go into deflation cycle, so prices will crash as people look for liquidity, selling cars, houses, and other assets. Next, the banks will start to fail. Then they will use their bail-in option to drain bank accounts to stay afloat. Finally, we will see a massive spike in the value of real collateral assets like gold and silver, maybe. A very questionable maybe. Bitcoin. I had to run that because that sums it up. No pun intended. That sums it up perfectly. This right here is a magic backdoor because this, instead of having your money in the stock market or something like that, this puts it into something you know nothing about, and they're simply making up the rules as it goes. Your money goes in here and it never comes out, ever. Get your money out of the bank. Get your money into the ground or wherever, but into the ground where you'll have it. Because when all fails, and we live in a demonic society, we're seeing it happening. They're going after the food right down to the eggs. It won't be overnight. It'll take a while. It might take a couple of years. Look how long COVID's dragged on for. They may crash the economy and it might take a year or two. Meanwhile, you'll be smart because everything that you have of value is underground and still in your hands, and you can barter with other people, as opposed to the only other option, which would be shooting other people. Do you see what I'm saying? Even when all hell breaks loose, I don't want to be put in that position. I want to be able to trade with people like we've done since time immemorial, or until the government stepped in. But this is insane right here too, real quick. A pair of statues championing abortion have been erected in New York City. New York City. Of course they have. I mean, are you kidding me? Theodore Roosevelt statue was taken down because it was controversial. But then they put up this demonic statue right here. Because this is all good. Nothing wrong with this whatsoever at all. This is where we live. And let me tell you a secret. If you live in New York City, or you live in any massive city, get out of the city. The number one answer I run into from people, the number one question I run into on the road, people ask me, where can I go in the United States that's safe? This is the New World Order. This is a global event. This is a global takeover. I understand we don't live on a globe. I'm saying it because it's a word, so calm down. This is a global takeover, and these guys will not stop, and they're not stopping. It just gets worse and worse every single day. And sadly, when people don't point it out, people kind of just go along with it. But I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All over the place. Meanwhile, everything is quietly burning down. Here it comes. At any rate, links will be below. Richie from Boston. I am out.